Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy Professor Pippage back in it again. Trying to get active, back looking at these charts. Another day in the market. Trying to get active, trying to see if we can figure out, trying to see if we can take advantage of the market these evenings and see what we got lined up for the night. Last night during the Asian session, if you watch my weekend analysis or my weekend recap, I didn't have AU marked up yet, but this is the identification we came up with. And initially, coming into the Asian session, what I did was look for shorts, simply because back in off of this price action here, we hadn't really yet shifted the structure. And I saw price action push up and then come back into support. When you look at the structure the Asian session was creating, which is the high, low, lower, high, lower, low, I thought we was going to break through support. And as we broke through this like 5-minute level right over here looking left, I took some shorts. And as you can see, those shorts got clapped. It's more like over here. And then I had 50% loss right up there. So once price action started to push back above this high right here, I chopped off 50% of the position. From the east. And I had stops right above this level here because we got back above here. Then potentially we were coming to fill this gap and then retest this near my high, which is exactly what happened. So once I saw price action come down and respect this 1 hour support, I pushed back out to the 1 hour and realized that price action was not going to break that level. As you see the support right down here, price action did not break through that level. And then once we hit the 15-minute, what we had was price action started to close back above the levels I was looking at for that was going to send price action to the downside. So what I saw was price action push above my 50%. I closed 50% and pushed into my stop loss. The runner got stopped out right up there. We're looking at a total of 11 pips. The 50% was chopped down about 6 pips. So overall, wasn't too upset about this idea. If it would have worked, then it was clean range looking left. So that was another confluence that I had that made me want to get into this trade right over here. But when this one right here didn't work out, I did not necessarily switch the buyers, but if you look at the weekend analysis, potentially we had buys and sells from this level. If price action would have broke, then you had the shorts. It didn't break. I got in a little bit early based off lower time frame structure. And as you can see the result. So once I saw price action push up and pull back, I started looking for the buys. And I said, okay, well, we created the low, we created the high. If we pull back and break the low, then I'll look to give the trade a second chance once we close below this support. I never saw that support get closed below. I saw this candle pull back. It didn't even come close to this support level, and then it started back resuming bullish. So as we got right up to this Asian high, right back in over here, and start to present like candles were still gonna go bullish, I actually think this was a buy stop that I placed once I got out of these trades and then got activated once price got over here. I'm trying to think. Let me see. 22, yeah. I might have market execution, and then I think what I did was got a market execution from here, and then I had to buy stop above once it broke above. Either way, once I woke up and came back to the charts, we did smash up some profits, targeting that London high looking left. And then if you bump out to the higher time frame, a little bit of wheeze going on tonight. If you bump out to the higher time frame, there is a structure level looking left that I had outlined with this level here and then this level here. So the 15-minute bump out to the hour, we can find it closer. So first resistance was here, which is what I was targeting. Second resistance way up there. And as you see, when you blink the charts, price action, what was we at? Yeah, was right down here. Just 1 hour support, pushed right up to that first resistance we were looking for. And then what we're looking for tonight is to see if price action is going to cut up to that top resistance, even break through, and the next resistance is back over about 71,331. So overall, we're looking for those buys, potentially simply because price action is bullish. Now, with the way this price action is developing, what we can see is we're creating a channel. Price action tapping the top of that channel, pushing back to the bottom of the channel. back to the top of the channel, still creating higher highs and higher lows. And what we can see right now, price action is at the top of that channel. So as I reanalyze this chart and bring the market and bring my chart analysis back, I gotta see, is price action presenting itself in a way that do we potentially catch a pullback during the Asian and London session, or do we manipulate these New York highs like we saw last week and then come down and create that lower high and push the market higher? So we got the analysis back on. What we're gonna do is delete everything off the chart. Pretty much, I made a video this weekend about all these trade setups and ideas. And then last night, took shorts, got clapped, took buys, smashed up TPs, made back the loss from over here. Wasn't necessarily looking to make back the loss. It's just, I stayed on the charts long enough to where I saw this price action set up to where it pushed above that Asian high, came back to retest, and I got up in there. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and hit that delete button. So at this point, we're going to hit that delete button. Come on. I don't know, my joint lagging tonight for some reason. All right, and then since we started a new monthly candle, I will like to bump out to that monthly chart just to see where price action is potentially pushing to. So as you can ultimately see from the monthly chart, price action overall is bearish, creating lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs. When you get back in over here, price action created a low. This is the monthly. 2 months ago, price action created a low. And now, price action is doing a retracement of that move that pushed you into the lows. So based off the monthly chart, the next resistance is way back up at 71,786, which is about a whole bunch of pips away. So when we go down to the lower time frame, we're going to see if we can build up evidence to see if price action is going to push up to that 71. Let me mark them off so I don't keep forgetting. We're going to turn this white. And only really bump out to the monthly chart when we are close to a monthly opening or a monthly ending. It's the only time I look at the monthly chart. It's the only time it's relevant to me. I don't trade the monthly chart. I don't trade the weekly chart. I don't even trade the daily chart. I look at those higher time frames to grab my confluence of where do I think the market is going. Overall, we're bearish on the higher time frames. Current price action is retracing. So we got monthly resistance right up here with this white line. Put that text on in. Monthly resistance. And then, let's see. We can go down to the weekly. What we can see is that monthly resistance right up there. We see price action pushing bullish on the weekly, and we close above resistance here, and we close above resistance here. So with price action pulling away from this zone so far, we are building up chances of price action to actually pull back. Since we pulled away from that zone, we pushed out 268 pips. So I'm not seeing any signs of a pullback, but the further we pull away from the zone, the higher, the more is likely you should expect price action to retrace a little bit for you. But this weekly candle just opened, and as you can see, we got a bottom wick provided by Sunday night's price action. Today is Monday. I think I just said Tuesday. Today's Monday. We got a bottom wick provided by price action from last night, and we also got a top wick provided by the price action that happened today. So when we go down to the daily, we see price action is still bullish. We got that monthly resistance right up here. And we're going to see if price action, well, on the daily, we're pushing into a resistance looking left. So we're trying to build that evidence to say, is price action going to continue bullish, or what is it going to do? And how can we potentially take advantage for tonight? So marking up my daily ranges. Current price action is bullish, so you could necessarily get away with marking the daily ranges based off of this current price action. But for me, since I know the monthly and the weekly are bearish, I am going to mark the last lower high that gave you the lower low and consider all this price action here a retracement. It is bullish, but it's a bullish retracement. And I don't like this choppy price action here. So what I'm going to do is hop out to the weekly. And what I'm going to do is outline this area here. This is the structure we just broke through. And what are we going to call it? Structure most recently broken. Let's put that on it. And then up here, what I want to outline is the next resistance. This level right here is not really important yet, but when I go to the smaller time frames and look and see what the next resistance is, if it's in sight, I want to have some sort of idea of where potentially price is going. So we got a weekly level right up here. We got a monthly resistance right below it. So there's a high possibility that price action is going to react from this zone right up here. You know, potentially, I don't think when it first tap into it, it's going to break through it. I think it's going to come back and react and pull back. But we got a long little bit of time before we get up there. So on the daily, we got a structure we just broke through. So I don't know. This is kind of tricky at this point because normally I would have had this as a daily high, daily low. We just broke above. Next resistance is here. Trying to see what would be the best way because we are bearish. I do see the resistance here. Let's mark it like this, and then as we go down to the smaller time frames, we can adjust. So we'll mark it this way first. Mark it the way I normally would. Identify my daily zone. And this daily zone, for me, identifies that the market is continuing to push bullish. What's going on? Let's see, bullish continuation. And then from the downside, I could mark this level off the weekly as well, but I can see it just as fine on the daily chart. So mark that bottom. So at this point, the way I read this with supply and demand, we got supply back in over here, demand right down here. And at this point, price action is pushing through supply, reaching for the next supply zone. So demand at this point is greater than supply within the market. We bump down to the 4 hour. Let's see. We can make this a lot smaller. Identify, I really want this whole little area right here as your demand zone, and then this area right up in here is your supply. Got some accumulation right up in here. So then when we hit that 4 hour, we got the 4 hour support, the 4 hour resistance. I don't like these levels on AU at all. They're too choppy, they're too close together. 4 hour support. And you got the 4 hour resistance right up here. All right, and the way these 4 hour supports and these 4 hour resistance work for me, price action breaks above this 4 hour support, we are continuing that bullish trend. If we break below this 4 hour support, there's a high probability that this trend right here is potentially starting to be over. So at the point that price action comes down and breaks through this 4 hour support, we are seeing the beginning of the potential trend reversal. We would need to see how far price action retraces. If it retraces back above, we're in some sticky water. If it stalls out below the 4 hour resistance where the previous high was, or even anywhere below that, potentially under here, if not under here, I would say 50% of the move that pushed us down. But at this point, with that price action isn't on the chart yet, so potentially I would look for a pushback into the support we just broke, and then to see if price action continues to go lower. So this is all like a future perspective. I don't think this will happen tonight or even this week, but if it does, then potentially you will be starting to see the trend reversal here. So we can delete that. But for tonight, as I said, we're pushing bullish. I don't really see any levels within this 4 hour range that I would specifically identify as a 1 hour support potentially. Let's see if I can identify a level. So if this was the low and this was the high back in over here, this area right here, because of these wicks and how these candles overlap, I would identify this level because I know on the lower time frames, the 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, there's gonna be a structure right here. There's gonna be a zone. And so what I'll do is I'll highlight it for example purposes because we got a couple minutes before 8 o'clock. When you go down to the 1 hour, you go back over. Let me see, 4 hour. Yep. So we push, pull back. So that should be a support right up in here. Go back to the 1 hour. And as you can see, down at the bottom, there's your support that push price higher. So with that big range on the 4 hour, I don't see any areas back in over here where price action currently is that I want to identify. I do see this choppy price action right here, so that would alert my eyes to look in this area on the lower time frames. But at this point, I don't think I've ever really seen anything like this, so I'm not going to identify it right now. If it stands out when I go down to the lower time frames, I will identify it, but right now I won't. The one thing I can see is price action has, well, this candle hasn't closed yet, so we got about another hour on this 4 hour candle to determine if a support will be created right here. The way I identify supports, we got bullish, bullish, bullish. We got the bearish close. This candle has to close bullish in order for me to identify this area as a support level within the market. So when I go down to the 1 hour, on the 1 hour time frame, you can kind of identify that level as a support area. We came down, we pushed down, we were bearish, then we went back bullish. We came down, we retested that area again. Did not break through that level and started back pushing bullish. So tonight during the Asian, I want to see if we can break through this level and then potentially come back down. How far do we come back down with this move that pushes into the highs? Now, here's the thing to look at. On the 4 hour time frame, price action stopped within the zone right here. On a 1 hour time frame, it pushes through and comes back above. And these are the wicks that are on that 4 hour time frame. So when you go back and you look right here, this is the support with that bearish candle. You actually could tighten it up to the bottom of that wick of this bearish candle. And this is that price action on the 1 hour time frame. So based off of this, I would like to adjust this 4 hour support right down here. Simply because when you go down to the 1 hour time frame, this 4 hour support level does not look valid. So what I would do is bring it down here and adjust from the body close to the bottom of the wick, the gray wick, not the blue one. And now this is my range on the 4 hour and 1 hour time frame from the low to the high. So what I want to do and what I want to see is where this price action exhausts when it starts to retrace. We don't necessarily need this level except to help build a trade idea, this bullish continuation zone. The way we identify bullish continuation zone is a break and retest trade idea. So what we look for is price action to push above this level and maintain above. At this point, we came back within this zone. We need price action to push above and stay above this level right here. We broke back in the zone. So now we're broken above for the third time. We want to see if price action stay above this yellow line. It's more than just this yellow line. It's more of a zone, but this yellow line is the start of that zone for me. So I want to see what's going to happen. On the 1 hour, what do we have? These supports on the 1 hour are not that great. So what I want to do is identify this level, 1 hour support. And this level initially is here to say if price action comes back down from here and does not break through this level. When I say break, I want it to close big bearish. Now I want to see a retracement. Then I want to see a break of another low to say that we're going to continue to go bearish back into this level. But I definitely want to see this support close below first to try to formulate any bearish scenarios. And then if we break through there, then my eyes will be alerted to somewhere down here. This is another area where price action tried to go lower, but it couldn't. We pushed up bullish, tried to go bearish, no bueno. Pushed up bullish again, tried to go bearish, no bueno. Pushed up bullish, didn't even come back to retest this level anymore, and we pushed up higher. So we're going to see what happens when price action gets back to this level. So first level was here. We want buys. Ultimately, I'm looking for a buy setup. So as I go down to the smaller time frames, that's what I will be trying to find. So finish identifying some of this stuff first. We got the Asian open. And then, let's see, we got the London open. We got about 4 minutes before 8 o'clock jump off. Plenty of time. New York open. And then the last London open from last or early this morning. And then we want the weekly open, which was the 31st. All right. So we got two potential levels. We can potentially create a trade idea from. If we come here and stall out and respect this support, potentially we could buy back into this high. If it breaks above, we can look left and find another potential target from that weekly and daily level, or way up here. Let's see, above here. We're looking at 126 pips to that monthly resistance, 29 pips. And then if we make it all the way back to the top of that weekly / daily resistance, looking at 158, 59 pips. But for the night, we got to frame and see what we can get cracking like right now. Let's see, this is the hour chart. We got 3 minutes before it closes. Bump down to the 15 really quickly. All right. Let's see what we get. So London low in and around this area. We got that London high. We got a New York high. Double top off of the New York high and the London high. So what I would be expecting automatically is the London session potential to manipulate these highs and then drop lower. But we're gonna see. We had the same similar price action last week. We did not get clapped. Well, I did one position did get clapped. I got in during the New York session. It didn't close. I should have, but the London or the Asian session trade that I got in, it did not. It was an excellent entry. What was the New York low? And then right now we are on the Asian session. So the London gave you a low. London put we got the London low, London high, NY high, the same exact area of that NY high, the same exact area of that London high. So we know liquidity is being built whenever we see those equal highs. We got the London high and the New York high in the exact same space, equal high. So we're going to identify liquidity above that level. You can stretch it out to here, this level, or this high, that high, and this high, all equal highs. So we know when we see price action pushback bullish, we're going to get a big candle push to this level versus choppy candles. Like back in over here, we're going to see a big candle explode through this level. Right now, we got price action going bearish. If we do not break through this level, I will get active to the top side. Something, let's see what does this level look like this. 15 minutes, let's see how it looks on the hourly. If we got it exact. Yep, so 15 minutes, we can stand on it. All right, so it's 8 o'clock. The 8 o'clock candle is now open. Let's see if we get a big ass bullish candle up that way, or a bearish candle breaking through the support. Let's see what happens. Let's see. If we break or tap below here, go ahead and get them alerts ready. And then if we get back in above here, I want to know before we actually tap that high. So I want to see how price action got there. All right, so from here, pretty much I got a chart set. I know if we close below here, we could potentially see price action come back down to this level before going back bullish. Total of 29 pips. And I will go ahead and get rid of this level, this gray level in the background, simply because I don't think we need it at this point. We can leave the bullish continuation zone there to kind of help remember, but it does clear up the chart a little bit more. So we can see if price action stall out at this support first, as we are coming down big bearish into it. If not, then we got our eyes right down here at this level, around 69,678. That's a good bit of weight. So yeah, this might be a whole Asian session trade if we come all the way back down here, all the way into the London. Then we can see if the London starts to rebuild bullish price action and push us higher. Ultimately, this price action broke out from down here, so anything that happens in between here is just corrective or choppy or whatever, however you want to identify it. Because price action is ultimately bullish, corrective price action back down to the point where we broke out from, if it makes it that far, and then push bullish. What we can see from the previous weeks of marking up, price action only made it back down to the extreme low one time throughout price action last week. As we can see, the extreme low here that pushed us into the highs. We came back a good retracement before pushing into the highs. We came back and retraced here, gave you a new high, and we came all the way back down to that support level, and then pushed you back into the highs. And this, I think, this is the first time we've seen a move come all the way back down from where price action broke out at within the last few weeks. As you can see, price action broke out here, gave you about a 50% retracement, then gave you the new high. Over here, you got about a 70% retracement, then a new high, and so on and so forth. So that's how we gonna line them up. What I can see on the sneak tip, this little trend you got going right here. So let's see what's gonna happen here. All right, so we got our alert set, we got our areas identified, we know what we're looking for. A couple different ways to get active. Right now, we're chopping around. We're gonna switch over to BTC. Bitcoin. Man, I don't know what Bitcoin is doing or where it's going. I ultimately think we're about to see a deeper retracement. Let me refresh this. I ultimately think we're about to see a deeper retracement back down into here, especially if we break this support level right over here. I'm looking to buy from around, what is that, 22,700 level. If it makes it back down there, I want to see how it gets back down there. Right now, we're corrective. So we could keep on correcting right through this level right here and then come all the way down. Keep doing this push, pull back, push, pull back, push, pull back. Corrective price action down to the lows. You potentially could have a buy from down here. But we have to break through the support level here. Right around that 22,700, 600 level first. But I did have a trade idea right in over here. What I was looking for, I saw the support on the 1 hour level. And I said, if price action broke that support, then we have a higher chance to come back down to this level right here. As you can see, I had a sell stop right below this level here. And then I identified a level on the 15-minute here, and I had stops immediately above. So when we bump down to the 15-minute, you can see price action broke through that 1 hour support. As we came back, I did not enter on the first one. This first one, I saw this is what allowed me to identify this level on the 15-minute. So as price action, let me open this up a little bit so we can see. As price action retraced and touched back to that 1 hour support that we just broke through, I saw that wick. So when I saw that wick, I put me a sell limit right at the top of that wick. And as you can see, price action came back into it and then started creating that bearish price action, lower lows and lower highs. When I came back to the chart, price action was down here somewhere. And what I saw was, I think I went to the 5-minute actually. What I saw was lower lows and lower highs. We had this pullback, and then price action was kind of struggling to break that low, and I started to trail the stops after I took off profits. I did drop it in the group chat, but it was kind of late. So we got the entry from right up here. Price action started to pull back, retest the entry once it, created this little structure right down here on the 5-minute. That's around 2302. So what Charles, that was a 15 minute. 23.02, and then yeah, so we were tapping 23.02 right down here, and I trailed the stops. But overall, 75% of the trade was taken, so only 25% got trailed in the stops right up here. Simply because if we pulled back, I wasn't trying to give away any of those profits. I knew if we didn't just continue bearish from here, then there was a high chance for price action to retest here and even potentially push back where I got in from. And as you can see, we did retest this level and pushed above. Now, had I stayed in the trade, I potentially could have caught some more profits, but I don't like price action pushing this far in the profit and not taking any money off the tables. So, like I said, when we got down here, closed out 75%. Didn't care at this point, trailed the stops, and then got chopped out. Over on GJ, I had a trade idea last night. I was looking for price action to break out of this little consolidation range it had going on here. And when I came back to GJ, it was doing this price action here. It was already printed to about right in that 4-hour support. So at that point, I knew mentally I was back at a waiting game. And then as I was watching AU, came back to GJ, we were down here. So then I had this trade idea. I had the high, I had the low because bullish candle had already printed. So what I did was I drew up, I wanted to see price action retracing to 50% of the price action that broke structure looking left, 50% from the high to the low. And I was going to get active from there. But by the time I was getting ready to get off the charts, we hadn't reached that level yet. As you can see, price action hit that 50, retested the support right down here. If I would have gotten in this trade, I would have taken off profits right down here because what happened last time, price action came down, tapped into that level, and then pushed back bullish. I don't want to be in the trade at this point no more. So at this point, I would have definitely took off some profits if I would have gotten into the trade and then just left it running. Ultimately, I was looking for price action to retest the bottom of this consolidation zone. If you hop out to the higher time frames, 4-hour, daily, weekly, you can overall see price action is consolidated. If you watch that weekend analysis, you can see how I outlined and identified that consolidation zone. So check them videos out I've been dropping lately. It'll definitely give you some sauce on, how to get active within this market. GU. Oh man, GU played out. I did not get active in this trade. I wanted to so bad last night, but when I got to it, it was pump faking. It wasn't really trying to break through this resistance. So what I did was I lined up me a paper trade, and I had a buy stop right above this 1-hour resistance on the paper trade on the 15-minute. As you can see, once we got above, obviously, there was a candle that was already printed above that resistance. So I put a buy stop paper trade in right here. It was activated. Came back down, had a little bit of drawdown, but ultimately targets were hit for 42 pip take profit. Like I said, I wanted to get in this trade real bad last night, but I didn't because once I came to look at GU, it wasn't giving me the price action I needed to see to be able to trade this trade. So before price action got way over here, I wanted an impulsive move through this level, retest, and then that was the entry from the retest. As we can see, kind of got an impulsive move here during the London session. This is pre-London right here, this big ass candle. And then right here, after the London open, you got another impulsive move through that zone. So ultimately, this trade idea of a push, pullback, and push has not really played out yet. So this price action here could be that push of this initial push leg here. And then this price action coming back down could be the retest for ultimately another buy right around 22.050 level. So what I will be looking for, not tonight, but if I come back to the GU and I see price action stalling right around here, potentially wait for that shift on like the 15, 30-minute 1 hour, and then try to make new highs. And you ain't doing nothing. Them alerts ain't went off yet. We getting close though. I should have put the alert at the top of that zone. We already touched into that 1 hour of support. Now we want to. Oh, we about to close already. 10 minutes. Dang. I'm gonna have to upgrade. But what I want to see, since price action has touched into this 1 hour support, what we want to see is how this candle closes and how the next candle closes. So if this candle comes down, it's big bearish right now on the 15-minute chart, but if we come down and go deeper within this into the support and then start to retrace and close above, and the next candle close bullish, I might take a buy based off of that bullish close, depending on how it closes. Let's see. I'm gonna leave that alert right there. We was on GJ, GU, NZD, USD. Weekly open. We were looking to see what price action was going to do when they got back to the 15-minute support. It didn't even make it. It broke above the 1 hour support and kept going bullish. Yeah, this would have been just an impulsive trade. There's not really a break and retest above this level to ultimately get back in once it retested. So this price action here could lead you back into the structure most recently broken and then push bullish. But ultimately, if I was watching, potentially could have had buys above this level. Same setup as AU right here. Yeah, let's push over to UJ. UJ played out as well. So what we had on UJ from the weekend analysis, back in over here, we wanted to see if price action broke below this 1 hour support, and if it did, we wanted to let it push until it closed bullish, which is what happened. Last night when I was trying to trade UJ, I don't normally trade UJ, but I was going to trade it last night because of the setup that I saw. I actually added an alert so that if price action touched that 50%, I knew I was coming back to get active. It barely didn't touch. Let me see what that 50% at. We're looking at 810, and then that candle's high was 765. So we missed it by 76 to 80 is 4, and then 81 is 5. We missed about 5 pips. 5 pips, and we definitely would have had a smashing trade to the downside, targeting this 131.560 level we had when we looked left. Come on, from right over here. Yeah. So that would have been another banging trade that I could have taken that I didn't get active on last night. And then we push over to gold, bump out to that hourly. We are pushing heavy away from demand. What we wanted to see, we kind of got outlined right over here. If you look on the left of the chart, we wanted impulsive sales if we broke through this 1 hour support. So potentially we would have got clapped over here because I probably would have took them shorts if I was looking at gold. Yeah, and I would have been targeting back into this 4 hour support. But ultimately, the break and continuation buys above this level. As we broke above and came back with this bearish candle, potentially could have got in if you was watching it live. Let's see what it looked like on the 15-minute. This is some funky price action right here. I would have been nervous to get in this trade, seeing as how it broke out. You got this big ass bearish candle back into this to this level. When I see price action break above continuation buy zones, I want to see price action push above and then correctively come back down into that zone. Push, pull back, push, pull back, push, pull back, so that when we get to this level, we can impulsively take off to the upside. Right here, you don't necessarily see that. You kind of got the push, pull back action right here, but this is a engulfing big ass volume momentous candle back into that level. It did push back bullish, so potentially you could have had a trade set up there if you were actively watching the charts. But this setup right here, I don't know if I would have got active on this. You're looking at about 86. Is that 86 pips? I think it is. You're looking at about 86 pips. God damn, big ass range. Yeah. Pushing over the S&P. S&P didn't do too much of nothing during the Asian. We saw this chop action coming out, so definitely was discouraged and not trying to set up anything off of that. What we can see from the price action that has played out, we have. This is funky. Why is this? Oh, okay. Yeah. So what happened was we created highs. We created a higher low on the 4 hour chart, and then we pushed into the highs, creating a new high on the 4 hour chart. Now, when I created this 1 hour resistance, there hadn't been a bearish close at the top of that 4 hour chart just yet, so that's why we identified it on the 1 hour time frame. But overall, price action has pushed into this would now be a 4 hour support if I went back and marked it up correctly. And now what we're doing is chopping around between that high and that low point. Hold on one second. All right, cool. So ultimately, what we got right here is price action is bouncing between this 4-hour support and this 4-hour resistance on S&P, and I wouldn't touch this. Clicking over to NAS, nasty NAS. We were looking to see if price action was going to break through support. Structure most recently broken. Ultimately targeting like right way up here. Price action is bullish on the higher time frame. So ultimately we're looking to see. I don't know what to do with this price action right here. I would probably have to blank the charts and reanalyze top to bottom because I don't know. Based off this, I don't know what's going on. These structures at the beginning of this month are real funky. We got a high, we got a low, we got a higher low, higher high. So potentially we're looking to wait to see where price action creates this next higher low. If we break through this 4-hour support right over here, then potentially we could be coming back down. But I would like to see high, low, higher high, potential higher low, higher high. So yeah, most definitely I will identify this area here as a 4-hour support now on NAS 100 and see if price action stays above that support and push back bullish, or if we break back through and come down to this level first. And if not, then we got the level identified right over here to where we think price action is coming back to. So overall, if I would have took some trades, or if I would have scrolled through my charts a little bit later last night, potentially had a setup on GJ. Definitely had a setup on GU. And then UJ would have been that other setup that would have played out had I been actively live watching the charts. And as you can see, UJ just pushed through that level. So potentially, let's see where we going. We got some levels right over here that are real choppy. So price action might just be coming down to the level or potentially break all the way through this level. Yeah, so let's see what it do when it get down here. We're gonna put a where we at? Let's see. Yep, price level right down here. So when we get down in this herb, we know to identify and watch, and we also gonna add an alert to see what price action wants to do. Ooh, ain't no need to add no alert. So with price action dropping like this, what we can start to see and build when we say correlation of pairs, we see a lot of USD weakness. We see JPY strength right here. When you switch over to GJ, let's see. Yep, we see JPY strength right here. So let's see if we can start drawing some conclusions. JPY strength, so let's check and see if GBP is weak. No, GBP is potentially strong. It is weak against the JPY. The NZD is potentially strong. And then let's pop over to AU. AU is potentially strong. So overall, when we gather the evidence, when we look at anything XXX versus the USD, whether it's AUD USD, GBP USD, NZD USD, all those pairs are going bullish. And then when you click over to UJ, UJ is a USD pair, it's going bearish. So overall, the US dollar is at a weak state at this point when you talk about the Forex market. So when we come back and we try to draw that conclusion of what direction we're going to take that trade in tonight on AUD USD, what we can see is on the 4-hour, we're pushing very heavily into this 1-hour support right over here. I'm going to blank the chart so we can see. What we see is price action pulling back into that 4-hour and that 1-hour support. Then we bump down to the 1-hour. We can see price action is more or less consolidating above that support. So knowing that the US dollar is weak, I don't have a lot of confidence that this retracement is going to take place right now. It definitely could happen, so I won't count it out. But we're starting to build evidence that the US dollar doesn't have strength to bring this market lower. So in that case, we are in the Asian session. The Australian dollar market is up and booming. And overall, we potentially gonna push bullish. We're gonna see though. At this point, we just drawing conclusions because we don't really have enough evidence to say that that's what is going to play out. Share screen, bro. Come on, bro. Do you love me? Let me go back to here. Same link. And then, yeah, so we'll hop down to this 15 real quick. It is 8 o'clock. We have not seen that momentous push that we like to see, and this is what I was identifying here. Remember, I said earlier, if we came down here and we respected this support, and then the next candle closed bullish, I will look to see if I can potentially take a scalp trade back into the highs. If we break above, that'll be that manipulation, and then come around close to time London. If we start to stall out right above these highs right over here, I would try to formulate a trade to take the shorts yet again. 15-minute. Let's see if we start to break lows after we broke this little trend line that we identified in the higher time frames. Let's see what we got going over here for the news. 9 o'clock, 8 or 9:30, some lightweight news. Tomorrow, that's not tomorrow, that is tomorrow, but it's the pre-London. So what we might see for AUD, because we got this funky ass news coming out at freaking 12:30, potentially I don't know. Because last time I tried to hop in before news, I got cooked within 30 of them seconds. So I want to see, let's see what that news is calling for. Cash rate and then RBA rate statement. Let's see what we got. Reserve Bank of Australia. Why traders care? It is among the primary tools. It's among the primary tools RBA Reserve Bank Board uses to communicate with investors about monetary policy. It contains the outcome of their decision on interest rate and commentary about the economic conditions that influence their decision. Most importantly, it discusses the economic outlook and offers clues on the outcome of future decisiones. More hawkish than expected is good for the currency first Tuesday of the month. So what I really would like to do is wait until 12:30, but that ain't gonna happen. Yeah. If it's 12:30 and I ain't taking a trade, I probably ain't gonna take one into the New York session. Let's see. We got the New York high. We got the New York low. We got the push, pullback, push, retracement, consolidate, retracement. We have not pushed higher yet. I think at this point we might be able to identify that agent high. Yes, I think we can. So right over here, we've got this agent high. If this candle closes bullish, we might be able to identify that agent low as well, and then formulate a trade based off of that. Agent high. Let's see. Any of these other trades or other pairs, the idea, that already pushed where I thought it was going, so I would wait to see how this reacts once it touches the bottom of that consolidation zone. It's all the way to the bottom. GU don't really like to do his thing until the London session, so we pretty much gonna see just chop around action. Let's see, when it broke out last night, it didn't break out last night until pre-London. We didn't get no volume or momentum, so all this price action right here is the Asian price action. Wait, is that right? No. All this price action right up here is, that's all the Asian session. But pretty much real consolidated price action. Push, pull back, push, pull back. No real. Hold on one second. On GU, potentially nothing that looks attractive. Let me see. Let's bump out to the higher time frames if it makes it more attractive. We can delete this. Delete. Go go back. What did I just delete? I might need that. Oh yeah, that was a trade idea. Delete, delete, delete. We'll ultimately keep the 4-hour support. Why is it not moving? Okay. Let's bump out to the 1 hour so we can line that area up even better. We can take this and delete. We can take this. We'll probably keep that. And then we'll identify the high. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. And then let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so G looks just like AU's price action. We got the low, we got the high. Potentially what I would do on this is drag out the fibs. See where that 50% level lines up. If it see if it lines up with any structural levels. Because this is so choppy, potentially I would mark the support like this. 1 hour support. And then so what I would look to see is price action is currently bullish. So I want to see, do we retrace at all? And if we do, I'm looking for it to exhaust into this 50% level. If not, it might come back a little bit deeper. 382 down to the 70. Let's see if we can get the 618 up there. Fibs, nope. One more time, let's try the big fib. All right, so the 618 and the 50 kind of lined up with this 1 hour support. So if we get a retracement and we can stall out back into this 50% 618 area, potentially we can have some buys back into that 4 hour resistance. Looks like an easy trade. I wouldn't take it, but right now you got a high, potential high low, and price action is the candle is open bullish. If it does continue bullish, you got about 19 pips to the top of that zone. We could just grab liquidity and then come back down to retest that midpoint. But at this point, we have to see what price action wants to do for us, because overall, we got a bunch of nothing. We just created the high on the higher time frame. Theoretically, if you just create a high on the higher time, you don't necessarily want to look to buy. But here lately, price action been doing all kind of funky moves, and we are into a heavy resistance level looking left. So definitely not so encouraged to take the buys, but definitely would like to see a retracement trade potentially back into this 50% level or this 1 hour support. Let's see what AU gonna do. Probably nothing, because we got news coming out tonight. So we done pulled back into that 1 hour support, and we currently rejecting hard on a 5 minute. Yeah, that might have been an entry. Bust down to the 1 hour or to the 1 minute. All right, so when we come down to the 1 minute, we can see price action pushed into that hourly support, and then start to shift the trend back bullish. So had I been sitting here on the 1 minute chart and saw this, I would have got in right here. Because I was already looking for longs from this level. When we came back and didn't break this low, as price action closed bullish again, probably would enter from like something right there. Stops potentially under here. And then quick targets right up there. We're going to see how this paper trade plays out. But yeah, we're going to identify this area right over here as the Asian low. So now, at this point that we are not in a trade, we have got to make a decision on what we think price action is really going to do, because potentially this first trade idea here is going to play out, and we'll need to see now. So in order for me to take a position at this point, this is the high, this is the low. The first trade idea that comes to mind, since we got the high and we got the low, we're going to take 50% of that overall range. And if we stall out at the 50, potentially we could have shorts back down here. These are just trade ideas. This is not something I'm trying to do right now. I'm just going through the process. If I hadn't had this bullish scenario idea right here already, then this is what I would be going through to potentially find or potentially, you know, try to outline what I'm looking to do next, because potentially this move right here is already missed. But the next trade I did, if I didn't have this paper trade here, we got the Asian high, the Asian low. We pull back to 50%, reject 50, and continue to go lower. So then at that point, if that was to happen, I would have shorts from beneath this Asian low. Yeah, I would probably want to see it actually break that 1 hour support to take that short. Simply because we already came down here once and got pump fake and started going back bullish. So you definitely want to see close below the low and break through this 1 hour support here. But let me see. Make sure we get this on there. Paper trade. We're looking at a 2.81 risk to reward ratio, 7 pip stop, 20 pip take profit. It wouldn't be bad. It would have been super sexy had we caught it down here. Then you got a 2 pip stop, 25 pip take profit, but we didn't get all that, so we're gonna go to the paper trade right here. Ultimately, I don't really got nothing right now. A bunch of waiting. All right, so another thing we can do, since we already got our structures identified, know what we're gonna do when price gets whenever price action gets where it's going. We can watch it from the 1 hour time frame. We can watch and see how this candle closes. Now, because it's a 1 hour time frame and a 1 hour candle, we got 27 minutes before this candle closes. So potentially we can get some clues and insight by bumping to the 30. We bump to the 30 because that 1 hour candle is still open. But the 30 minutes within that 1 hour candle has already closed. And if you blank the chart, you can see that first 30 minutes of that current 1 hour candle pushed down and rejected hard once it came back into support. So what we need to see is, does the second half of that 1 hour candle, the next 30-minute candle, does it break the low and continue to go bearish, or do we respect the low and potentially go bullish? Currently at 8 o'clock, we know 9 o'clock is that retracement candle. So if we're currently bearish, there's a high possibility that price action is going to retrace when that next 4 hourly candle open up, take us back bullish. And if we are already thinking price action is going to go bullish because we're bullish from the higher time frames, then that line's right on up to give us some excellent success to push into TP. Let's see what happens. Miss Kimmy, what's going on with you tonight? You got any questions for the group? You trade today? What you was on, NAS? All right. Let me see. So we got a paper trade right here. We can let that run. Using a New York session? I got you. This would have been a New York open. Then we got the Asian open somewhere over here. Asian, then a New London that's coming. And then the London that just passed. Clone. 3 o'clock. Yep. And then we need that weekly open, 31st. All right, so we brought down to that 15-minute. We can kind of see from the weekly open, we pretty much consolidated. The London session pretty much consolidated. We've got the high like right over here. Let's see, London high. We got the London low. So coming from the London session, we pretty much created a range. The New York session manipulated that range to the top side, created a new high, and then push right back into the range. Now, I said this was a manipulation because price action pushed up and then came right back in within the zone where it took off from. So We manipulated the lows, manipulated the highs, and then came back in and started consolidating again. So normally when I see this on normal Forex pairs, what I'm looking for is news to pop off. We need some type of volume to enter into the market to break us out of this little consolidation zone we stuck in right here. Yeah. So this morning, if I was trying to trade this, I see we got a high. This would have been kind of tough to get in. If you were expecting buys, because the higher time frames are bullish. Coming to this New York session, let's see. We opened over here, 8 o'clock. We know we said we wanted to wait till about 9 or 9:30 to let that kind of price action play out. So potentially, if that was the trade idea, and we say, okay, well, we are New York open, we are big bearish, we got a bullish print here. We wanted to wait until after that 9 o'clock, 9:30 time frame. Here's the 9:30 candle close. We have a big impulsive and engulfing impulsive candle to the highs, breaking structure looking left. You had a resistance right here because we were bearish, bullish, bearish. Resistance created. We broke and we closed above this small resistance right here and created a bullish candle. So potentially, if I was looking for the buys and I saw the gas pick up, what I would do was hop down to the 5-minute, potentially let it push, pull back, and then probably try to buy from up here. This is kind of high, so you're kind of risky at this point. But as price action played on, you come down, you keep your stops probably down here in the beginning, and then as it advanced, kind of trail. So yeah, ultimately, overall, this probably would have been real tough to get in. Yeah, seeing this big bullish candle, you could have probably taken a buy at the break of this high, but I don't know what you would have targeted. You definitely had to look left and try to find some type of structure. But when you start doing this and pulling back to the left, I feel like sometimes that's what gets you cooked within the market. See, the next resistance ain't to like way up here or even back in over here. So once you broke above where we currently are now, I don't know how you would have placed targets there. I guess the easiest thing would have probably been was if you knew price action or you had an idea that price action was going bullish, we started breaking highs. Potentially, this is pretty risky right here, but potentially entered as we started to break the highs, kept the stops right below there. Couldn't have told you what you was going to target, so there ain't no telling how far this would have worked. But what I would have did was potentially took the trade like this. Don't know what I would have targeted, but as soon as price action pushed above, you could have potentially trailed the stops because you don't know what you're going to target. Or once you saw price action pull away from your entry or pull away from where you were looking at and then came back and retest, I definitely would have trailed the stops beneath here. Once this candle came back to retest that entry and then let it play out. So as far as I would have watched it and then, just seeing how the profits would have came in, I don't know how I would have, said to get out of the market, but potentially once we got this push and this pullback, that could have potentially been your entry. That could have potentially been the point where you trailed the stops if you got in earlier. And then as we started to push back higher, I would have took profits off here and then definitely let the runner run and then, trail the stops and try to figure it out that way. So when you got situations like this, it's probably best to just sit back and watch, because this ain't the easiest price action to trade right here. The only confluence I got that would have kind of signaled me to take this trade was price action was only bullish, was already bullish from the higher time frame. That was the only, we're looking at NAS, because like I said, I don't normally trade NAS, so the only thing I get that I know from when I used to trade NAS was wait till after like 9 o'clock, 9:30. So that would have been the only setup right here I would have had. Price action was bullish, waited till after 9:30, let the funky get out. And then as we pushed, pull back, potentially entry here, and then, target here first. And then as it continued to go, let your runner run and trail the stops. Outside of that, I couldn't have told you another potential setup I would have had. Say again? Yeah, what I want you to do tomorrow is have your levels identified and then wait until after 9:35. So you can be looking at the charts, but if you want to get in, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens after 9:30. Yeah. Because I feel like at this point, if you're sitting here waiting, you say price action is bullish. We know price action like to wig out at that NYSE open at 9 o'clock. So 9:30, we let that candle, all that price action play out so that when, let's see, bar replay, back to there. So at this point right here, it's 9:15. So we ain't antsy because we know we want to wait till price action get all the way to 9:30. So if we'd have been sitting at the charts and saw how that candle formulated big bearish this way and then closed big bullish, now that we see price action has shifted on the 5 minutes, you probably making higher highs and higher lows. Potentially at this point, you know, in live trading time, what I would have said, okay, since we see momentum kick into the market, let me see a pullback. And then that's going to be my signal to get in. So then when you hit the play button, I wouldn't have counted that as a pullback. I wouldn't have counted that as a pullback. Potentially that might have been, yeah. So at this point, once I saw this kind of close bearish, I probably would have been looking to get in. Let me see on the 15-minute how I look. Yeah, that's probably how I would have took it in live time. Once we start to break these highs, I probably would have got in. And then based off of this candle, probably would have had stops. Not this candle, but the one next to it. Put stops right under there to be safe, just in case it does melt back down. And then as it continued to push up, I would have just trailed the stops. Yeah, I probably got trailed out right there. Because I definitely would have trailed the stops as we started to break that high and continue to go higher. I would have got stopped out right there, but ultimately, you know. So it's a little, you know, especially when you're new in the market, it's a little tricky to try to set up your setups. But ultimately, you just kind of have to build that story, like I said before, from the higher time frames you were bullish. So on the daily, you was bullish. On the 4-hour, you was bullish. At the New York session, you were retracing. So yeah, potentially we would have said, okay, since price action is retracing, we potentially getting ready to see structure shift on the lower time frames, back bullish, and then take the trade that way. Other than that, yeah, you are correct. This is some difficult price action to try to get into. Let's see what AU doing. AU still pump faking? Damn. Paper trade going. Let me see. I think at this point, I probably would have cashed in some profits simply because we have retested that Asian high at this point on this paper trade. And let's watch from the 5-minute. Looks a little bit cleaner. If I wasn't at the charts to take profits, I probably would definitely trail the stops at this point. Let me see. You had a good 11, 12 pips to take off some profits, which ain't bad because ultimately you got a 20 pip take profit. So you took off profits about 50% of the way. Not bad, not bad. Or I would have took off profits about 50% of the way. And now, potentially we probably can get in right here. Let me see what we're doing. Rejecting on the 15. I don't like it. Not to take bias. Let's see. 1 minute. Do we got any gas lining up? This 50% play would have got cracked. But we would have stops right up under there if we tried to short there. Let me see. Delete. So now we can see price action creating higher highs on the lower time frame. You got a high, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. So we're waiting to see if we break this low. And then if not, I might scalp that thing on out. Oh, this would have been a perfect entry right here, bro. I had some easy pills. Yeah, I probably would have called it a night after that. That's a good 20 pills. 17 of them things. All right, so we got the Asian high, the Asian low. We retested the high and then retraced it dramatically. So now, let me see what price action gonna do. Overall, the higher time frames are bullish, so that is why we are looking for the longs. That is a major rejection candle. So when you're trying to identify candles and you don't really necessarily know what they look like, this is definitely a rejection candle. When this candle was developing, it was huge bullish into this zone. And then you see how it closed. We were big bullish up until this point, and then we started to reject, close bears, close bears, close bears, and close bears. So at this point, I ain't really interested in trying to take no buys, especially if we went in from the bottom, because this could easily come down and continue to drop lower. But we gonna see what's gonna happen. 8:45, 9 o'clock is coming aggressively. I think we're gonna manipulate these highs tonight and then drop. I don't know that. We're gonna see. So yeah, when you hit that 9s in the morning, try to hold out. Unless you see some gas, you see something that definitely lines up 100% and it looks proper, you could potentially hop in, but I would try to wait and just see how 9 o'clock candle plays out, how the 9:15 candle plays out, 9:30ish. If the market going crazy back and forth, I would probably wait till that 9:45 to see if it continues what the 9:30 candle printed. Yeah, I got about 15 more minutes, and I'm gonna slide on up out of here. There ain't nothing going on right now. And then it makes it even, like, I probably would have been more willing to take this buy if I didn't see that news popping up, but that news be having me nodded. A little higher, pull back, and potentially continuation. Let's see. 5 minutes. At this point, we got a high, we got a low, we got a high. We got a deep retracement. Retest the highs, fail to break. And now, this is funky. Because it definitely might keep pushing with us now. See how we came down, retested that low, that pushes into the highs, but didn't break it? So this potentially would be a higher low if this move continues to make a higher high. This is all based off of, this is 2 minute chart. We'll hit that 5 minute. That's ugly. Let's see. I think I like a 1 minute better. So that definitely looks like the easy trade for the night. Came back to support, should have been ready. Could have had a potential, some easy gas. Oh man. Let me see what else we got over here to line up. AUD has post wedge, target bullseye. High ground to hit us with precision, monthly forex. Seasonality, gold stocks. Strategy webinar. See, the price action is funky right here. See how the hourly looks. Markets week ahead, S&P US dollar, gold, AU, US market open. Sentiment constructed despite mixed APAC handle, US AUD forecast, RBA. Yeah, so when you hop over to that NAS, you click on that chart right there. You got trading view? Okay. When you get that, let me see. Yeah, so when you click on NAS, like I said, we got this consolidation zones here, so I would look for some news to kind of see if price action gonna break out. And if you click on the third tab all the way over here on the left, see I got a highlight that says news. This is your news feed for NAS 100. So yeah, you can kind of see if anything's gonna pop off, you know, U.S. stocks start lower, mid slow down, and factory activity, South Korea, inflation. Yeah. U.S. stocks week low, mid slow down. Job openings expected to decline. Yes, most of the news that been put out today is forecasting some potential bearish price action on these indices. So, yeah, we'll try to see what happens. I would like to see a continuation of that. If price action is going to go bearish below 1 or 12, I guess you can call it about 800 psychological level. 12,800, close below there. See if we can come down here and fill this range right up in here. Damn, we got a minute again. 10 minutes. Man, AU, come on, baby, show me something. What I do see overall is we are ultimately respecting this 1 hour support here. Seeing as how this, like I said, this candle has tapped into it, is showing signs of rejection. Yeah, we could continue bullish, grab the liquidity here before coming back bearish. But I don't see what I want to see. Let's see what's happening over here. Sucker players missing the field. Sucker punching. Go back. Go back. Run it back. What the hell did I say? I don't know why my internet's so slow tonight. We gotta lag something serious. Come on. Close this. Let's close this. I don't see that post I was looking for. Go over to the Twitter and close some of these tabs down at the bottom. It might speed me up a little bit. And we got nothing to close though. But yeah, I'm probably be on here for about another 5 minutes because ain't too much nothing going on. We'll be sitting here listening to each other breathe. From today's study session. So when I hop on Twitter, I like to come and see what everybody else is getting active on. Dow Jones right over here. I don't know. Let me see. London lows, Asian lows. Second. Yep. All right. So the easiest way, retracements don't break structure. So right here, we big bullish. We came back. We created a support. If price action was to come down and start to close below these levels right over here, then you're looking at trend reversal. We come down, we got a support, we pushed up, we got a support. This is just a retracement. It didn't break the structure. So we got a retracement of this push into the highs, retrace here. We tried to push into the highs again. We retraced again, back into the support. So when you start talking about trend reversals, price action is breaking structure to potentially change that trend. So right here, you have on the 15-minute a bearish trend. You got the high, you got the low, lower high, lower low. Right in up here, price action pulled back, and we broke the structure. So this is the last lower high that pushed you into the lows. So this right here would have been a 15-minute trend reversal back into the highs. If we had pulled back and stayed below this level and then started to come back down, then you're looking at just a pullback right here. But on the 15-minute, this is the trend reversal. Pippage about to get smacked. Let's pop out to the hourly. I think how. Which one? This one here? This one? Or where we at right now? Mm-hmm. Potentially breaking structure on the 4 hour. Yep. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, you're making higher highs and higher lows. So you got a high right here, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Ooh. What I would do, since price action is bullish, so if we came down and started to break this level, I would let it push as far as it wanted to push. So if it only pushed down to where this wick is, if it came down further, I would just let it drag on down. What I want to see is when it finally stops, where does it retrace to? This is the important part right here. Where does it retrace to? Does it retrace this structure we just broke? Does it retrace to this structure we just broke? We want to see it retrace. Once it retraces, then you can start formulate that trade idea to say, okay, we came from up here, we pushed all the way down here and broke structure. We were retracing and didn't break the high. So potentially now that we retraced and start out at this support right over here, now I can take the market even lower. Yeah, potentially come all the way back down to this daily demand zone. Yeah, so if we break right up in here, that will be the support right there. So if it broke there, I would want to see how it reacts here. If it breaks through both of those levels, I'll wait for the retracement and then take it short. And because you got these equal lows or this liquidity starting to build up right over here, I would definitely expect a big ass candle to push through that level. So, let it push as far as it want to push, If we didn't catch the short from right up here, then there ain't really too much you can do about it. On the lower time frame, if you catch push pullback action, bearishly, push pullback, push pull, catch it off the pullback. But I would first want to see it break through these levels here first. Get rid of this. Yeah, so we got this level and then this level. I need to see this level break first. This is the important level to kind of give you the insight to say, okay, now we broke this level. Now we know price action, kind of wants to go bearish. If it breaks this level, then we definitely know price action potentially wants to go bearish. We look left, we got a little bit of slowdown level right there, so look for price action to tap into something like that. Then when it comes back to retest, potentially could have a sell from right there, or a sell from up here. So you pretty much got two levels you want to watch as far as that retracement, or two levels I would be watching as far as that retracement. Right up in here, right up in there. If it stalls out at 81, I would take a short. Yes, I'm gonna leave this on here like this and see what happens. I will put, let me see, yeah, potentially something like this. Let me break through. Price starts right above. Now, taking trades like this is a bit risky because you have no idea where to accurately put your stops, and you have no idea when price action is going to break through this zone. This, more or less, with me putting on a chart like this, is so that when I come back, I'll know exactly what I was looking for and exactly, how price action played out. Even if I didn't put this on here, I would know what I was looking for, but this kind of like is at a glance. I know I don't really have to come and study this to kind of just look and see and say, okay, I was looking for shorts as price action broke this level. And you can potentially line it up like this as well. Get the high, low, lower, high. Breakthrough, make the lower low. Retracement, lower, high. Go lower. But we need to see this first support level be broke first. Stops will be right up here because potentially this would now be your new lower high. So this one would be a little bit more easier to set those stops. I can't believe AU ain't okay. So we Got that 9 o'clock candle open. Let's see if we tap in here again before going back bullish. But I do think this Zoom is about to cut off again. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. And then we can get back active tomorrow. Yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate you for tuning in. Yeah, right now, see if you once you start watching, whatever time you hop on in the morning, see if you come up with some questions, some scenarios, some ifs, or what it could have. And then that way, when we come back and look at it tomorrow, we definitely can have some ideas to say, okay, well, when you go into a Wednesday, this is what we can try to do as far as the setup and how we can develop. Like I said, off of today's price action, yeah, this is tough. This is real tough. Only confluence I said you have was that price action was bullish. So when we come back to the New York session in the morning, we're going to wait and see how price action is opening. And if I get time in the morning too, if I remember, I always try to click over the NAS and see what's going on. Ooh, that thing cut off. Ain't nobody trying to upgrade with y'all, bro. Come on, 40 minutes. You know I need more than 40 minutes. Don't even trip. But YouTube, I think I'm about to slide because 5 minutes. I don't really see anything just yet. We got the high, we got the low, retested the high, failed to break. We have not come back to the low. You just got a whole bunch of choppiness right up in here. This don't tell me nothing that I want to see. Unless we come back to this 1 hour support and shift structure back bullish, then I'll probably hop in. But 9 times out of 10, that probably ain't going to play out. We probably going to shoot through this zone now. So paper trade pushed up for a good little amount of pips. Potentially could have got in, got active. Would have been better to catch it from down here, but it's a bit risky trying to catch from down here simply because you kind of have an idea of what price action is coming to, what it's attracted to, but overall, this could melt all the way into this 1 hour support before pushing back bullish, which it didn't do, but let's see. Ultimately, we back bearish on the 1 minute. So I know interested. But I think, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there. If you caught this video, thank you for watching. Most definitely 100% on the top end. Definitely smash that like button. If you got questions, drop a comment. If you're trying to hop off in that Telegram, drop a comment. If you just want to trade with your boy, drop a comment. Outside of that, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm out of that thing. Peace.